Thank you very much. It's indeed a pleasure to be back home in my hometown and village. Asanteni sana kwa kunikaribisha nyumbani. I was meant to come to the 10:30 service, but I received instructions from Pastor Nganga, and he said I should come for this service. So that's why I came a bit late. And Pastor Nganga here keeps giving me instructions. He doesn't know nowadays I'm a big man. So he keeps telling me, no. I have said you come for this other service. But it's always good to be in your hometown, in your village. And thank you very much for all that you're doing. Thank you for praying for our country. Thank you for praying for me and my family. And we also pray for you. Asanteni sana kwa kutuombea. Let me also take this opportunity to thank you very much for the last election. I know it was a difficult time for all of us as a country, but God saw us through. And I want to tell you as a church, thank you very much for praying for the elections. We had the best elections ever, acclaimed by all the people who participated in the elections, the observers who participated in the elections. These were the most credible elections ever held in Kenya. And we want to thank God for that season. Let me also thank you for praying for the government of Kenya and all the people who work with me and all the counties and everybody else. I remind you the words of that were read to us by Pastor Samuel in Galatians 6:9. Do not tire of doing good, for in due season you will reap a reward. So mwendelee kufanya kazi hiyo nzuri ya kuombea taifa letu la Kenya na kuombea mambo yote ambayo tunayahitaji kama taifa na marafiki zetu wale wengine wote. Nataka tu niwakumbushe a few words in Philippians. When I was flipping through my Bible, I came across these words that were a blessing to me. And let me read Philippians 2 and verses 3 and 4. Let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better than himself. Let each of you look out not only for his own interests, but also for the interests of others. I think it speaks to all of us looking after one another and watching not just our interests, but also the interests of others and the interests of our nation as well. This Easter season, I decided to spend time here at home and also to supervise the planting in my farm, because I need to make... I know we have a big debate in the country about the cost of living and how we need to reduce the cost of food, but it boils down to what we do as farmers. So as a farmer also, I came down here to look at what I can do to make a contribution to food production in our country so that we can reduce the cost of living. And this year I have purposed that I want to do twice in terms of productivity in my farm, so that I can make my small contribution to producing food in our nation and eventually to reduce the cost of living. I was very happy that when I met my fellow farmers at the village, we are all happy that at least fertilizer this year is half the cost of last year. And I'm asking all of us to double our efforts. I was informed by the Kenya Seed Company that they have sold an extra 200,000 kilos of seed, which means we have an extra 200,000 bags, I think, of seed. And they tell me that we will have an extra 200,000 roughly additional acres of land under production this year. And that gives me confidence that going forward, we can actually reduce the number of people who are going hungry and the number of people who are staying without food, and also be able to reduce the cost of living in our country. I ask all of us who are farmers to go out of their way, even as we pray for rains, that we also do what we must do to be able to produce. And to my fellow farmers, let us work hard. Let us do what we must do. I will still need to do some work tomorrow before I go back to make sure that I also make my contribution. And I want to ask everybody else who has a piece of land somewhere to make their contribution, because at the bottom of everything else, we must feed our nation first. I know, of course, because of the situation where we are, we have imported a lot of food. I think beginning this week, it will get to the market. But that is not the solution. The solution is really in making sure that we produce our food locally, because indeed we have the capacity to. And I like what Pastor here said, that whatever it is that you're doing, do it as if you're doing it unto God. You are not doing it for the money. You're not doing it for the show. You're doing it because you are serving God in whatever it is that we are doing. Those who are teachers, those who are business people, those of us who are farmers, let's do it as though we are doing it for God. So I'm truly happy to be back here at home, and to appreciate all of you for the things that you're doing, for the families that we are bringing up. Just to mention to all of us again who are parents, we have a serious crisis of drug abuse in our nation. Parents, starting with myself, we need to look out for our children and the children of Kenya. There is a very, very big crisis. We're trying to do what we can do. I recently appointed a new board for NACADA. I'm working with all the other arms of government. But even as we do that at the government level, we must have a combined effort from the families so that we can meet somewhere halfway and make sure that we secure, protect our children, and protect our nation from the dangers and the real threat of drug abuse in our nation. So again, to all of you who are parents, let's all work together towards making sure that we are responsible for our children and we are responsible for our nation. Sitaki kusema kuzidi hapo, nimefurahi sana, nawatakia Pasaka njema wakati huu, na niko area. So so let me ask Miss Rachel Ruto to come and say hello.
Thank you. Good morning, church.